Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Zoe and I'm so happy that you found my little corner of the internet where I love to talk about books. So I live in California, so there have been big storms going on and it has been raining for over a week, which is not typical for the city that I live in. And the rain is not going to stop for quite some time. So I figured it would be fun to make a video talking about different books to read on rainy days because, there's just some books that have that certain vibe to them that make them better to read when it's raining and gloomy outside versus when it's sunny and warm. So I split them into a cozy category, a thriller mystery category, and a category that kind of is books that just fit the vibe for a rainy day. Like they just have that special something that makes you want to grab them when it's cold and gloomy outside and sit down with a nice cup of coffee or tea, cuddle up under a blanket and read. And because the list is so diverse, I do think that there's something in here for everyone. So I hope you can find a book that's perfect for what you're looking for on a rainy day. So let's just get into what the books are. The first book is Harry Potter. Any of these books would work. This is a series where I feel like everybody's probably read at least one of the books, but it's one of those series where you don't ever get tired of it. You just, you can read it 100 times and still love it just as much because the characters feel like friends and it's so wholesome and the vibes are just so good. I love going back to Harry Potter books every once in a while, especially when it's cold and gloomy outside, and I think they're just great for this time of year. The next book is one that is fairly popular, but I do feel like there's still a lot of people that haven't read it, and that is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. This is the same author that wrote The House in the Cerulean Sea, and this is his book from 2022, I believe. But it is a book about death. The book literally says death is only their beginning, but this is the most uplifting book about death that I've ever read. It does get sad at times, but I do think it's still such a great read. The characters are also charming. The setting is so wonderful. It feels just like the right type of book to read when it's raining outside, and it is super cozy. It made me smile and laugh so much. And if you liked The House in the Cerulean Sea, I think you would love this one as well. It does teach you so many great life lessons about, living and making the most of your time, and I just think it's a perfect book for when it's raining. The third book in the cozy category is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This book is a classic, obviously. So many people adore it for such good reason. It's so great. The characters are so sweet. It's a perfect book to get you in the cozy mood. I really think this one's special. If you haven't read it, you really should. I love the 2019 adaptation of this book, but honestly, the book is even better than that is. So I feel like that's saying something because that movie is so great. I read it for the first time in December last year and I just adored every second of it. I think about it all the time. And as somebody who read it when it was raining outside, I can confirm that it's perfect for this weather. Then I thought of The Art of Racing in the Rain because this is a really perfect book for when you want cozy vibes. It's another book that teaches you a lot about life, but through a dog's eyes, which I love because I am a dog lover. But I think that it's the perfect book to read when it's cold outside and gloomy because it's one of those books that you can just sit down and read in one sitting and feel changed when you're done with it. It sticks with you for a really long time and it's just such a great read and I highly recommend it. And the last book in the cozy category is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. A lot of people have read this one by now, but I do think it's perfect for, again, this weather. Not to sound like a broken record, but it'll make you feel sad, but it'll also make you feel so happy. It has all these great characters with these really emotional stories, and you just get really drawn into each of their lives and you want to know more about them. And it's another book that I think you could sit and read in one sitting on a rainy day and just feel really fulfilled when you're done. Next up, we have the mystery thriller category, and I think this one's really fun and I have a lot of books for it because I think a lot of mystery thriller books really fit well with the rainy weather. It just feels right. I don't know, they just have this special something to them. And yeah, so let's get into those. So the first book is The Inheritance Games. The whole series, actually, I have them all up here. These books are so perfect for when it's raining outside. They're another book that you could probably read in one sitting, maybe a couple days if you're not a super fast reader like me. I read so slowly, so these took me a couple days each, but they're so fun. They have you hooked from the first page. They're so gripping, so fast paced, and they just feel really right for this time of year. I think these are perfect. I just finished reading them on a rainy day actually, and it was just all the right vibes. I loved it so much. This is a good one. Next, we have a book that I've literally never heard talked about on YouTube, but I think it's so good. It's called Neverworld Wake. This book is so crazy. It does rain quite a bit in it, so it's perfect. The cover even looks perfect for this weather. It's about this group of friends who gets in a car accident and they wake up the next day thinking life is normal, but they keep reliving the same day and they can't get out of this loop and they don't know why. And it's because they are in the Neverworld wake. And basically it's this thing where they have to keep living the day over and over again until they decide who the one person that gets to live is, and all the rest of them have to die, and it has to be a unanimous decision. And it gets pretty crazy. It's pretty wild. It's really dark, really fun. It's so thrilling. I flew through this book and I wish more people read it and knew what it was because it's just so worth the hype. Next is a book that actually I don't personally like, but I do think that has the right vibes, and it is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is a really popular book, so I'm in the minority for not liking it. So if you haven't read it, go ahead and give it a shot, see what you think. But this one does take place in the snow. It's really gloomy the whole time, and another really fast-paced, page-turning, gripping story full of these really mysterious characters, and you just want to find out what happens. So another one that you could read when it's cold out, and you could probably read in one sitting. I don't know. All of these books are really good options for something that you could read really quickly, potentially in one sitting, maybe 2 sittings, and feel like you really read something good when you're done. Then the next book is actually just an author. I think Agatha Christie is perfect for this weather. She has, these fun mysteries. You just want to find out what happened, find out who killed who, whatever. And I just think they're perfect for this kind of weather. Any type of mystery really fits with the cold and the gloom. And I've only read one Agatha Christie book, but I'm planning to read more soon. And I definitely think I'll do it while it's raining outside because it just seems like the perfect fit. The next book that came to mind is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I think this one's perfect because it's a really fast-paced thriller. It's very different for Colleen Hoover, and I've honestly never read anything like it before. There is some mature content, but I think it's a really good read. It's really, really fun. And when I picture it in my head, it's all like dark images, so it definitely matches the vibe we're going for. Then we have The Shadows by Alex North. This one is a horror book, but it's not too scary. But it's another one that when I picture it in my head, everything is really dark, really spooky, mysterious, all the good stuff. And it just fits really perfectly with this. I feel like you'll really get into the story more with this type of weather. And also The Whisper Man by Alex North would be a good fit for it too. His books are just perfect if you're looking for that spooky, mysterious vibe on a cold, rainy day. Another author that would be good is Riley Sager, especially Home Before Dark and Survive the Night. Both of those are really, again, spooky, mysterious, fun, and I think they also fit the weather very perfectly. I don't know, I feel like there's not much to say about them because it's kind of self-explanatory. Like, you're looking for a mystery, you're looking for a thriller. Perfect, here's one. It's gonna be dark, it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna match the vibe you're going for. So I feel like there's not much I can say about them other than that. And the last one on the mystery thriller list is The Guest List. A lot of people have read this one. There's very mixed opinions about it, whether people think it's good or not. I personally liked it, and it actually rains during a lot of the book, so clearly it's perfect for this time of year. And I think it's a good, fast-paced, very quick read, very fun, and I really got into it, and I think you could too. Okay, and now into our last category of books that just fit the vibe. All the other books on this list fit the vibe, obviously, but these just like have a special something to them, and they didn't fit into another category really, so they got their own vibe category. And the first one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This one, lots of people have read, lots of people have liked. This is one of my favorite books I've ever read, and I feel like I just want to recommend it any chance that I get. It's really, really perfect for this time of year because, again, it's another one where when you picture it in your head, everything's really dark, and it is definitely cozy. It feels very like fall, winter vibes, and I just think it's really, really good to read on a rainy day. It just has the vibe. Like, what else can I say? It has the vibe. Next is Looking for Alaska by John Green. This book does not take place during the winter. It actually starts at the end of summer, but it just gives me the feeling of darkness and rain and thunder. It is a pretty dark book. It gets pretty sad at times, but it's really, really good. This is one of my favorite books. I think it's my favorite John Green book, and I feel like it needs to have like a resurgence because it used to be really popular and then it kind of went away when John Green kind of stopped being as popular, but I really think this one needs to have a new wave of readers who adore it as much as I do. The Hulu show is great as well. Who doesn't love being able to watch a show or a movie right after reading a book? And I just think it's really great for this weather. This next one is one that a lot of people might be like, why are you even talking about this? Because it used to be really popular and it's not anymore. This was back from like 2014, 2015 kind of booktube. But it's If I Stay. This takes place in the winter. It's snowing. It's really heartbreaking. It's really short, so you could definitely read it in one sitting. The font is really big. And I personally love this book. I love the movie as well. I do think it's not something to read if you're not looking for something sad, because it will really, you know, pull at your heartstrings. But I highly recommend it if you've never read it, or, you know, it's always good to do a reread because this is just such a good book. And again, so short. I'm not saying it's like the best thing you'll ever read, but I think the story is worth giving it a shot. Next is A History of Wild Places. I'm actually currently reading this and it's literally the perfect book for this weather. I'm so happy that I picked it up, just coincidentally, like that it fits so well. It does rain in the book, so that's fitting. And it just has like these dark, mysterious vibes. It's really gripping. So much is going on and I don't even know how to explain what it's about because it's just so much. And it's really, I don't even know what's happening because it is all a mystery, but it is about these people who live in this place called Pastoral, and they basically cannot leave where they live because they're afraid that there's this disease that will make everyone sick and die. And somebody goes past the border and I don't know what happens next because I haven't gotten there, but I'm excited to after I'm done filming this video. Next, we have Celeste Ng. Her books are perfect for this weather. They feel really dark and mysterious, but they're also like general fiction. And I think both of these are really great reads. Personally, I prefer Little Fires Everywhere, and this one also has a show on Hulu that's really great. It's fantastic. It has Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington, and I highly recommend watching it if you haven't already. But I recommend reading the book first because this is a really great book, and both of these just really fit the vibe that we're going for here for this gloomy day. And the last book that I have for this video is another classic. It's called A Separate Peace. I feel like this is a lesser known classic, but it's really worth the read. It takes place at this boarding school and it follows these two friends and this group of boys, and you kind of just watch them grow up through boyhood through a year at their school, and it takes place during the winter part-time. It has, you know, a little bit of darker imagery, and I think it would be a really good one to give a shot if you haven't read it and you're into classics. It's also a really easy to read classic. It's not one of those that you're going to be like beating your head on a wall wondering what the heck it's talking about. So I think it's a really good option for this type of weather if you're looking for something that fits it. So those were all the books that I thought of for a cold, rainy day. I'm hoping you were able to find something that would, you know, work out for you, be perfect for this type of weather, because I feel like I did have a lot of different options in there. Or if nothing is really grabbing your eye, just pick something. You never know, you could find a new favorite book when you're least expecting it, like I know I have in the past. So I hope you find something you like. If you're interested in connecting, I will link my Bookstagram down below. I love talking to people about books and meeting new friends. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.